Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine, it's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 376. I have been banging on for the last several episodes about reviewing your processes, reviewing your policies, reviewing your steps, reviewing this, reviewing that. I think it's probably a good time that we talk about the importance of the regular reviews, why they're important for your cybersecurity strategy, and maybe talk about some things, how you can handle it all and handle all the reviews that you've got to do. If you have been following along, and if you haven't, I do recommend going back and listening to a few of the my previous episodes, particularly the last lot, because that will give you a lot of insight into what we're going to talk about today. But I have been saying that, when you create your supply chain management and securing your supply chain, you need to review that. When you write an incident response plan, you need to review that regularly. You need to review your threat and risk assessment regularly. You need all the things that you need to do to make sure that you are current and that your policies and procedures still work in today's environment. They're important because things change. It's part of life, isn't it? You go into business or you set up a process, you set up a policy, you've got these vendors that are the ones that supply to you. These are the systems that we're using. These are the threats that we know exist today. 12 months from now, if you go back and look at that, a lot of it will be the same, but some of it will be dramatically different. And if you haven't updated your policy or your procedure to look at those differences and to deal with those differences, when you come to use the plan to recover from something, or when someone comes to you and says, well, if we're going to pay out on this insurance, your cyber insurance, for example, can you show us your policy? You haven't covered this incident. Why didn't you cover this incident? You haven't even looked at it as a requirement. That's where it becomes important. When you get to a point where you've had a breach and you've actually got to go and do some mandatory reporting and go to the government and say, we let this data out, or this data got out. Someone got into the system and someone got this data, and they say, well, can we see your policies and procedures about how you protect yourself on this? You're in trouble. You could be in trouble with it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's the way it is. That's the environment we are operating in. So threats evolves, business threats evolve, businesses change, and our processes change. The way we do things change. So that's why reviews become crucial, because we need to make sure that our policies and procedures are an actual reflection on what we're doing within our businesses and how those policies and procedures actually help us do our business. So many people will go and just download a policy document and say, yep, that's the policy. And then when you go through it with them and say, okay, so this policy says this, where is that in your system? Well, we don't do that. Then why is it in your policy? You need to take the policies and you need to structure them, change them for what your business does. By all means, use those policies as frameworks, but make sure they reflect how your business operates. Because if they don't, they are a negative asset. I said that yesterday, I think in my episode. They're negative assets for you. So once you've got all that, you need to review it. You need to look at what threats are in the environment today. What attacks can come at your business today? What are the threats to your business today? What businesses are you still doing business with? What customers are you still doing business with that you had to write into your policy or procedure? Have they changed? Have the requirements from your customers to you changed? Has your requirements on your businesses that you do business with changed? Have their practices changed that you need to actually take into consideration with your policies, procedures, incident report plans? So that's why it's important. How often should you do this? Well, that is a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. I don't know. That's an honest answer. It is as often as you need to do it. You need to do it. Now, there is that balance board of if you're doing it too often, you're spending too much time doing reviewing and not enough time delivering your business. But if you don't do it often enough, you're actually leaving your business exposed. I would suggest at least annually, perhaps, maybe if your business is big enough, twice a year. Doing it twice a year. I wouldn't do it any more than twice a year. These are big things to go through. And honestly, I would sit down and I would have all of my processes and procedures in the manual. And I'd say, okay, this process, does this still work for us? Yep. This process, does this still work for us? This policy, does this still apply? Yes, great. I would do that all in one foul swoop. There we go. Things that you do need to evaluate. I've already kind of highlighted it that what are the practices of the businesses you're doing business with now look like now? What do they look like now? What are the requirements from your customer base? Have they changed? What are the threats and vulnerabilities that are in the system today or against the system today? Do they match what you've already got in there? Are there new ones? Are there things that you need to consider? Once you've got those, there's those things. The other things that you need to consider with all of this is your training programs. Are your training programs to your employees on all of these policies and procedures and incident report plans appropriate? Are they working? Do they have problems themselves that you need to address? Does the training program need updating? Are you not doing a training program and do you need to implement one? And then finally, it's the actual implementation steps that your policies, procedures, and plans deal with. Do they require system updates for you to be able to deliver and meet those policies and procedures? Sorry, I keep saying those words. I can't think of another way to say them. I'm sure someone's going to put in a comment and say, you could have said this, mate. Yeah, I could have. Absolutely. So when you sit down to do your review, get yourself a checklist, list out all of the things that you want to cover. Again, you can probably Google all of this and say, what do I need to do when I'm reviewing my cybersecurity strategy? There will be checklists that you can go through. There are also organizations that you can work with that will help you go through this step and help you make sure that you are safe and that your policies, your documentation is all up to date and actually reflecting what your business is doing today. Well, I guess the final thing I want to say is understand that things change. Things change regularly, particularly in IT. It changes very quickly at times. I know there's days I go, oh, we're doing this. Oh, that's not what we're doing today. It's changed from yesterday. Like it came in 2 days ago and now, oh no, there's a better way of doing it. We found a better way of doing it. As new technologies come out, as new ways of doing things come out, they tend to change very quickly and then they tend to settle in. It's really important that you're flexible in adapting to the new challenges and the new opportunities that are presented by this situation. It's important that you also understand what is important to address and what you can go, that's just shiny object syndrome. I don't need, that's not something that affects me, and move on. Don't get caught up in the hype of it as well. So it's again, there's balance boards all the way along here that you just have to balance as you're running your business. What do you guys think? Do you review your cybersecurity strategy at all? Have you got one to begin with? Do you review it at all? And if you do, how often do you review it? Are you more likely to review that cybersecurity strategy now that I've spoken about it and I've mentioned all of these things you need to think about? Or is it all just too hard and you want it to go away and you just want to go and deliver your business? I'd love to know. Leave some comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. Come and join me on Locals, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you about this. You can send me a DM on any of our social media channels. I will answer those eventually. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell if you haven't already. And I will see you tomorrow, and we'll work out what topic we're talking about tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.